You know, it's actually really nice I get to talk about this particular arc because it's actually starting to get very, very cold this time of year. So, how about I warm myself up by talking about the 11th arc in the series of One Piece, known as the Alabasta arc, which is also the namesake of the saga that we are currently in. It's like, this is the end. This is like the biggest saga that we've had in the Grand Line. Because it's the only one we've had so far in the Grand Line. But it's easily the biggest arc we've had this far in the series. It consists of 63 manga chapters and 39 anime episodes. That's twice as long as Arlong was. When it was done, it accounted for 1/4 of the entire series. But this is a very important arc because it actually set the tone of the series going forward. See, up until this point, whenever we went to an island, there was always like, we stop at like a village, maybe 2 of them, find the objective, do the objective, step 3, profit. But here, there's so many locations that they go to. Alabasta is essentially a country, a very large scale. Unfortunately, it does sort of hurt the pace a little bit, but when you get to the end, it is so worth it. Now, the main draw of this arc is there's essentially a war going on. So, when a war like this goes on, you need a wide cast of characters, both good and bad. Outside of the main cast, known as the Straw Hats, you have, Vivi's father, Nefertari Cobra, and, his, 2 of his right-hand men, Chaka and Pell. They're your typical good guys doing good things for, good reasons. It's cool. But Pell actually does something very controversial at the end of the arc. I don't want to give it away, but if you're a One Piece fan, you know what I'm talking about. There's also Koza, who's the leader of the rebel army. He's kind of one note, but he does kind of have a nice flashback, which is great. But with that said, the villains are what make this arc as good as it is. Baroque Works has been an antagonist for quite a while now, and it's about time we finally put an end to their scheme of taking over the country of Alabasta. And you can't have a great organization without a great leader of an organization. And that's where you get Crocodile. As a One Piece fan, I can surely tell you that when you think of great One Piece villains, when you think of classic One Piece at all, Crocodile is one of those people you almost immediately think in your head. He is that great of a villain. His Logia Devil Fruit power, which was the Sand Fruit, which, considering that he was in a desert, made him even more terrifying, was one of the most powerful things we had seen in the series so far. And he was also incredibly brilliant. He was a great tactician. He thought of practically every single contingency for if anything went wrong. Up to the point where, if the bomb that he was going to use to blow up the Capitol didn't blow up, there is another way to blow it up. He thought of everything. In fact, the one flaw he had was his arrogance. He never really did kill Luffy when he had the chance to. And he completely destroyed Luffy twice. In very brutal ways, I might add. In fact, there were times where you really thought Luffy was going to die. But it just really goes to show just how far Luffy went in terms of how he beat Crocodile in the end. Honestly, the final bout and the final battle in the collapsing underground temple that they have is one of the best fights I've ever seen, even now. And granted, I'm sure don't get me wrong, there's some fights I've seen that beat it, both anime or even Western animation. But not many. That's how good it is. You also get to see, this is actually the first arc you get to meet Luffy's brother Ace for the first time. Yeah. We also learn about Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, and Ace's captain. We also get, the return of old characters like Smoker and Toshigi, and the return of Mr. 3. So again, this is a large-scale war. You need a big cast of characters to fill it. And it does a great job at it. And I can't talk about this arc without talking about the great fights that it had. See, we are nearing the end of the arc, and you have to take on the best of the best Baroque Works has to offer. The Straw Hats had great fights battling each and every single one of these guys. And I do believe it was around this time when Oda issued a plot device called it doesn't really have a name, but for now we'll call it the Luffy will be the king speech, in which basically a bad guy will talk to one of the Straw Hats saying that Luffy will never succeed, and in this case it was Usopp who says, no, Luffy will be king of the pirates, and I'm going to help him do it. It was at that point that a lot of people really grew to like Usopp. I mean, he grew on us, considering his relatively poor beginning. But then, this was, his fight with Chopper against Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas, yeah, it was great. Nami got a fight in, a really great fight. Zoro has one of the best fights he's ever had in the series. Man, there's just so much. And then it all comes together when Luffy finally beats Crocodile in the end. It was great. There was a lot of character development. I don't know what to say. This is one of the best arcs in the series, hands down. And you also get to learn about the poneglyphs for the first time. And a very small hint as to what the Void Century is. As well as the fact that the ancient weapon Pluton is in fact on Alabasta. It all comes down to an end, though. We have a very bittersweet ending, where we have to say goodbye to Vivi. I mean, she's a princess. She has to stay in Alabasta to rule her kingdom. That's just how it is, I guess. But that's okay. At the end of the arc, we end up getting another Straw Hat member, in Nico Robin. We don't know much about her first, but we'll get there in time. So, yeah. I said back in May, when I talked about the Arlong Arc, that it was the Arlong Arc that made One Piece a great series. And it is. This arc, the Alabasta arc, this is the arc that brought One Piece leagues above anything else. Especially from what it was previously. And it was already great previously. So it made it even better. I don't know what to say without giving away too much. I mean, this is an arc I think of when I think of One Piece as a whole. So, yeah. And I said earlier in my video this morning that it introduced the arc that, Wano has its arc calamity going on right now. Well, this was the very first arc in which there was an arc calamity. Again, the bomb in the capital. So, yeah. It actually introduced a lot of great devices going forward in the series. It was awesome. Man, I remember, back when 4Kids was done this, I remember watching this then. But, now we're here now, and it's still great. Although, that being said, I'll take Funimation's dub over what 4Kids did any day of the week. So, yeah. This was definitely a great way to end out the month of November. So with that being said, like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media platforms, turn on the notifications on YouTube. I am very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, or had one. And whenever you guys want to talk, our channel is going to be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices. And you know, it's funny. I talked about how Luffy and the rest of Straw Hats had a lot of really great moments. And it's funny that Luffy wears a straw hat. Good thing we start a new month in which I get to don mine. See ya.